All right, Junkie Nation, Gorgeous George and Goes are delivering another MMA superstar. This time it's UFC strawweight Carla Esparza coming off a huge win on Saturday night over Yan Xiaonan. Carla, congratulations on that win. It was practically flawless.
Thank you so much. Yeah, honestly, everything we trained and everything we were expecting just went perfectly in the fight.
The announcers were saying she almost helped in the fact that she kind of was really aggressive and you were able to get the takedown early. Had she not been aggressive, were you just going for that takedown anyway, or were you surprised as well that she kind of closed the gap so early?
Yeah, I was a little surprised that she kind of closed it so early, or she kind of came out so heavy. But I was definitely planning to take her down, at some point. But I was also prepared to strike with her if I had to. It's like you go into certain fights and people are expecting your takedown, so they're so just defend the takedown that it almost turns into a striking war. So that's kind of what happened with Michelle Watterson, and when I fought her, it was couldn't even get close, so it just ended up into this kind of unexpected stand-up fight. But that's kind of how this sport goes. You never really know what people are going to come out with.
Well, it didn't matter because the takedown was there. You were able to execute it throughout the fight. So it's not like it was a gift or anything like that. And you made the most of it. You were attacking via ground and pound. You were setting up submissions. It was really, really a thing of beauty. But more than anything, Carla, I just love when they put a label of a number one contender fight or maybe a possible number one contender fight. Sometimes the UFC will say that just to maybe not make a full commitment. But when that happens and someone can go in there and just strangle the number one contender spot like you did, kudos to you. I really hope this nets you the title shot because I just don't see any other scenario out there. Have you heard anything since Saturday night as far as if that may be the case other than we see you, Carla?
I haven't heard anything as far as a title fight, but it's also really soon. And in my opinion, that's the only fight that makes sense. That's a fight to make, so I'm hoping, especially with the way the fight went down, it was such a dominant performance that it's, hands down going to be my fight and should be my fight, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, going back about a month when Usman beat Masvidal, they asked Dana White, what's next? He said, Colby's next. Now, there's plenty of times when Dana White will go, I don't make fights on fight night. He does say that. But on this occasion, he had a number one contender and he said it. I guess that's what I was hoping for you, especially with all due respect, Tatiana, she's been out for a while and she's already kind of committing to flyweight. So I thought this fight had a, perfect slot co-main event right underneath Font and Garbrandt, who are also title contenders. And like I said, I just thought that you completely made it obvious that you should be next. And hopefully it's sometime this year. Did you come out of it healthy? And would there be any reason on your end for you to decline the fight? There's no injury or nothing like that? No contract disputes?
Nope, definitely no serious injuries. Just, a couple little scrapes here and there, but my coach always says if you're going to hurt anywhere, the places you want to hurt are your knuckles and your elbows. So definitely not complaining.
Well, that's good to hear. Then this bad boy's done. The interview's done. I mean, serious. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's make it happen.
I spent time on Junkie Radio today just stating my case for why I think you should be number one. So I'll leave it at that. Goes, what do you have for Carla Esparza?
Scared me when you said the interview's done. I would have looked like a statue here this whole time. But let's talk a little bit about best case scenario, okay? Because I think you deserve it. With the pandemic kind of slowing down a little bit, we're starting to see things open up and going to places that are very familiar for the UFC. One of those would be Staples Center, Honda Center. Do you believe those that you've kind of earned, maybe getting this one in your backyard? I think that would be a lot of fun. And on top of that, is there a particular time frame that you would like this fight to happen in?
Oh my gosh, that would be so amazing. I've been fighting professionally for over 11 years and I haven't fought in my hometown and even in California since my first 2 fights. So it would be such an amazing feeling to finally get to fight in front of my people, out here. especially with such an important fight, like fighting for a title, and then, potentially being able to bring that belt here, back home. So, that would be really awesome.
Obviously, you guys have done this before, and we were actually at that fight, and she's gotten better since then, but so have you.
Yeah.
How do you see a second fight going? Is it going to look any similar to the first fight?
I mean, since I won the first fight, I would hope so. But like you said, we're both very different fighters than we were the first time we fought. And I wouldn't say completely different, but I would say we're definitely a lot sharper, have added a lot of tools to our arsenal. So I think it would be a more exciting fight because it would be like a higher level fight than it was at the time. You have two people who have improved over 7 years and come a long way. And, just to see that again, it's like, I'm a fan of that fight. I'm excited to see/be in that fight. I think it would be a good one.
If there was one thing you could point to that a difference between Carla Esparza at that time of that first fight to Carla Esparza today, is there one thing you can point to that's completely different about yourself?
I guess one of the big things is that I feel like I'm bigger, I'm stronger than I was at the time. I feel like my stand-up has, come, even though you don't get to see it and maybe in the last fight, but I feel like my stand-up has come a long way too.
Carla, one thing in glossing over your social media, your Twitter, your Instagram is you gave a shout out to your manager, Brian Butler, on Instagram, and then you did one on Saturday. And Brian's a great guy. We know him very well. Well-deserved shout out. But more than anything, what I love is the stability in your life. Oyama has been your team. Butler, which is, the owner of Sucker Punch Entertainment, that's been your manager. And has that stability helped you to, I guess, just make sure you focus on being a great athlete rather than jumping around? And it's nothing wrong with athletes doing that. But can you talk about that stability that you've had both with your team and your manager, and they've been with you through the highs and the lows?
Definitely. I've been with my Coach Oyama, for nearly 15 years. I've been with my manager pretty much my whole career. I think staying loyal to people and being with the same people, it's, you grow together, you get to know each other. It's not just like, hey, you're just another number, like, nice to see you here, let me check you off the list, do this, do that. It's like, you're invested in each other, each other on so many different levels, whether it's, backstage behind the fight or it's in training, and it's just like, they know where to push you, where you started, like, what works for you. And, I feel blessed to be with a coach and manager who are, still trying to help me grow. It's not just like, okay, well, we've got this one thing and, there you go. It's like, I feel like I'm still constantly like learning so much from Coach Oyama. And it's crazy because I go back to the basics and I'm still like, oh, this is how you throw that jab, or, just even little things. I'm just constantly like, wow, there is so much to learn. So I feel like if you're right with the right coach, even if you have like losses, like you lose one or two, it's like, I think a lot of people are quick to just point fingers and blame, the people around them. Oh, they're not giving me this, they're not giving me that. And it's just, for me, I've just had to have a lot of self-accountability and, say, hey, like, what do I need to change? And what do I need to, what conversations do I need to have with my people, and like, let's game plan together. Like, let's, and they're invested in my success because they've been there with me through it all.
This is a question I might get some heat from, but not from you, I don't think. I think just from fans who are haters, but I'm curious, and I'm a fan at the core of me. So I ask fan questions. But when I see fighters that have fought before with the males, 9 times out of 10, they see each other, they hug it out, they talk, and it's very, very open. And then every once in a while, you just have 2 males that have fought before, and they just don't like each other, and they don't commiserate. But what I don't see a lot of is females who have fought each other in the past. Do they keep it cool, or is it a little bit different for you all? Do you kind of stay away from each other? I just don't see as many of those posts. I mean, like, for example, you and Felice fought, and you guys are best friends, but I'm talking like women in general. Can you categorize that? How are you with Panda? Did you talk to her? How are you with former foes?
I think it really depends on the person. For me personally, I came from a background of wrestling. I'm just like, this is a sport. You guys are athletes. You're martial artists. It's nothing personal. It's just business. I don't trash talk people. So it's kind of like, well, we do our thing. And at the end, it's like we go into battle. And after, it's like I have nothing but respect for my opponents. But, sometimes people do talk trash or they're disrespectful. And, to me, it's not over when the fight is over. If you're rude and disrespectful to me before the fight, it's like, we're not cool. Like, I'm not going to hold any grudges. It is what it is. Fight is done and over with. But, I think it really just depends on the person. Some people need to almost kind of have that anger and, need to almost like hate someone to fight them and be mad at them. And I've kind of experienced that a couple times, over the years, like over, like 12 years of fighting. But yeah, even this, my last opponent, yeah. And like, I could tell she was very stone cold, like didn't, like no emotion. Like I would see her in the hall and she'd just be like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, oh, kind of, she's kind of a scary shit. I wanted to even shake her hand, but she was just like, face off, like out of here, So everybody's a little bit different, and I don't take it personal unless they're saying personal things.
Okay. And then the last question, and I don't know if you're public about this, but I found out you're going on a cool vacation tomorrow. Can you talk about it, or is that more just you wanted to keep it private?
No, I'm so excited about this vacation. I'm going to Botswana in Africa to do a safari, and then I'm going to be staying in Victoria Falls. And I just reached out to someone about, potentially doing a seminar. I'd love to, get do a seminar out there, like even for free, like for, like the kids and, just to kind of like help MMA. I know it's probably like not as big out there. So, it's cool to always explore new places and check out like gyms and everything. So yeah, I'm excited about this trip. I'm going to do safari, I'm going whitewater rafting, bungee jumping, like the whole nine. I'm so excited.
Whoa. Rafting? Do you know what's in the waters? I mean, I suppose I know Africa's a huge continent, but every time I tune in, there's crocodiles. It doesn't seem what country they're going to, but there seems to be crocodiles. But I guess the safari company must know what they're doing. So just be careful is all I'm saying.
I mean, I hope so. Don't want to like leave the fight unscathed, like no injuries, and then go whitewater rafting. It's like end up with a broken like in an arm cast or something. Like I'll be careful.
Yeah, that'd be like me saying I'm going surfing in Australia with all them sharks they got and blue ring octopus and some jellyfish that can, I guess it shoves neurotoxins in you. Like, if you don't pee on yourself or get help, you're dead in like less than 2 minutes. So I've X'd out going into the water in Australia. But what I wanted to ask you, what are you excited about the safari? Is there do you have a certain love for a particular animal that you're excited to see up close?
Honestly, I'm just excited for the whole thing. I just want to be like in nature, and I'm going to be camping on the safari. So I'm not going in like, not that there's anything wrong with it, but I'm not going to be in like some fancy like resort, like, driving out. Like we're going to be like in the rough, like camping, like sleeping on the floor. Like I just like love the idea of something that's just, that's so real and just authentic, and you're just out there in nature. And yeah, I think it's really cool.
I guess I'm jealous. Yeah, it sounds scary, but I think I'm jealous. I think what you're going to experience is going to be unlike anything else. So I hope you enjoy the vacation. You got some extra money because you were bonused on Saturday night. And then you also with the feeling like you probably solidified that number one contender spot. So you must be going with like the clearest mind and the clearest head and the biggest smile when you board that plane tomorrow.
Oh, definitely. I'm so stoked. I'm still waiting for the news for sure, but in my opinion, it's like hands down, like that fight should have secured that number one spot for me.
Yeah, you did exactly what you're supposed to do. You went out there, you got the finish, you beat a top contender, so good for you. Thanks for the time today. We really appreciate it. Congrats on the fight win streak, and enjoy your time in Africa.
Thank you so much. Good talking to you.